excuse me, I am probably going to butcher the title of this film because I can barely speak my own language, never mind any other language. Hey guys, welcome along to the show. I am your host Rodney Stewart, and another Laurel and Hardy classic review. And if you watched the last classic review, I'm still in the same t-shirt from that video. I've actually shot this directly after the other one, so yes. This one is from 1931, and excuse me, I am probably going to butcher the title of this film because I can barely speak my own language, never mind any other language, and this film is essentially the Spanish version, a feature-length Spanish version of Chickens Come Home, the last video we reviewed on here, and the last film we reviewed on this channel, 1931, Politiquerias. That's butchered completely. You can see it in the title of the video, but as I say, 1931, it is a feature-length Spanish-speaking version of Chickens Come Home. Now, if you want a more detailed review of this film, please go back to the previous video on this channel, and the previous Laurel and Hardy video on this channel, I should say, and you'll see the full review of Chickens Come Home. Now, as I say, Spanish-speaking version of this film, Chickens Come Home was a 25-minute short film. This one here runs to well over an hour, and I was kind of like, what have they done here? And you know, this isn't the first time they've done a Spanish speaking version of one of their films, and usually these tend to be a little bit longer. Now, there's probably going to be more in this review series. I've loved these films for a lifetime, but in all honesty, I haven't seen the entire collection yet. Like, I know all the classics, a lot of the shorts, but there's a lot of stuff in there as far as silent films, Spanish speaking versions, you know, that sort of thing that I haven't seen before. So they have done this before, and the Laurel and Hardy murder case, if memory serves right, they did do a Spanish speaking version of that there, which was longer, and it had a second short film they did, you know, knitted in to the middle of the Laurel and Hardy murder case. That was split in half. There's another one in between, which in the English speaking versions was two separate short films. So I thought they were going to do something similar in this film here. So basically, a shorter version of this film is Oliver is into politics. He's trying to get into running for mayor. A woman from his past comes to blackmail him. It's going to destroy his campaign for this to get out, and there's a whole rigmarole of pulling Stanley in to try and save his bacon, as he has to meet this woman to pay her off at 7 p.m. and on the same night his wife has arranged a massive party to promote his campaign. So I was wondering how they're going to do this and make it longer, and I should say that these Spanish speaking versions, and I was very impressed with the first one, because, and they do exactly the same thing here. Normally when they do a different language version of the same film, they'll just take the one recording, they'll go into the studio, they'll get voice actors on to re-record the lines in different languages, and then they'll just like overlay that, a new soundtrack on the entire film, and you'll have actors outside, voice actors outside of the normal actors voicing them. But Stan Laurel, Oliver Hardy, this is the second time I've seen them doing it in this collection, they have actually taken the time to actually reshoot the film completely and do the dialogue in Spanish, and absolutely pitch perfect. Not that I'm any expert in other languages, as I say, I can barely speak my own, but you know, these guys made a career out of being complete clowns. Stanley in particular was just like the really stupid one, hadn't got a clue, you know, he was always doing something stupid. He just came across as an idiot in all his films, and he played it perfect to a T. that was his character. But as I say, in this one and the other one, 2 films at this point, both him and Oliver actually speaking the lines in perfect Spanish. Brilliant. And there's a lot of shots from the film that can be used from the original one that are still in here, but there's a lot of stuff in the background. Like the majority of the cast have been recast. If you see the both versions of this film, it's almost, and this is how good they are, speaking dialogue in a different language, and they're hitting all the same beats almost perfect to the previous one. And you see in the background that the actors are all different. Oh, it's brilliant that they've actually not just reshot the film to speak the dialogue, but they're actually, as far as the pacing of the film goes, it's actually almost pitch perfect to the first film. So dead impressed with that there. So the film essentially runs basically the same as Chickens Come Home. Like, there's no variation of what happens during the film, bar the party scene at Oliver's house. That's where they've put all the extra stuff in that's made up all the extra time. Now what they've done here is they've brought in performers that were obviously massive popular Spanish performers back in 1931, and for this version of the film they bring them in to do stuff. So this guy comes in. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what happens here. There's a magic show at the start, and this guy comes in, does his little performance, and he does all this stuff where it's just like, it's just your standard sort of magic tricks, card tricks, like they pull things out of hats, all that sort of stuff. Very entertaining. And again, because it's a Spanish speaking version, you probably want to skip this one, but trust me, when you get to this part of the film, like these performances of the magician is actually brilliant. So between the performances, there's 3 different things that happens. There's a dance. There's a part in the film where there's a guy who plays the piano, comes out, performer plays the piano, the actors all get up, have a little dance, and that's before the magician comes out. So like in between each performance, there'll be a little bit of added thing where Oliver's trying to sneak out of the house, and he's either getting scuppered by James Finlayson or his wife, which is a couple of added parts as well. But there's this guy turns up, and he is have you ever seen a Regurgitator performing? Interesting. And I have seen it before. Never seen it as far back as this here. There's a guy in England used to do it. I've seen him a few times doing this sort of thing where they'll swallow things in a certain order, and they're able to move them about in their stomach and bring them back up in a different order. And stuff like that there. It sounds disgusting, but if it's done properly, entertaining as heck. So this guy comes out and he's doing stuff like, he's drinking down a lot of water, and then he'll like put out a fire with the water. And something like that there. It's like he'd drink down a few pints of water, then he'd bring it back up. Sounds absolutely disgusting. And he'd take down like nuts and whatnot, then he'd bring them up. It does actually sound really flipping disgusting, but you need to check his film out, check this part out, because he did something at the end that I thought was, very smart at the end. He has this bottle of kerosene, and he drinks that, he takes that down onto his stomach, and he takes down a lot of water first. So he drinks tons and tons of water, more than what you think the human body can hold actually, and then he drinks this kerosene, and then they bring out this like little doll's house sort of set up in the corner of the room, and of course he gets, it's like the breathing fire sort of thing. So like he's bringing up this kerosene, blowing it out on the flame, sets this doll's house on fire, and then whenever he gets the kerosene all up, he starts bringing water up then, like directly afterwards. Like he sets down the little flame thing, and he's blowing fire out, sets the thing on fire, sets this to one side. Next thing, he starts bringing up water and starts spraying that there. And it's like a constant stream. It's like someone just turned on a hose pipe, and really, really entertaining. Sounds disgusting, but you know, it's one of these things has to be seen to be believed. So that there is essentially what happens in the Spanish-speaking version of Chickens Come Home. I'm just going to refer to it as Chickens Come Home because I can't say the Spanish title. You'll see the Spanish title in the title of this video, obviously, so you know that's what the film's called. 1931 again, same as Chickens Come Home. So for a rock and roll rating for this film, I'm going to have to give it, unlike Chickens Come Home, which I gave a great, I believe, I'm going to give this here a higher rating. I'm going to give it an awesome, because I was impressed at just how well they reshot this film. And again, I actually took the time to learn the lines in Spanish, speak the language, which I just find to be more respectful. If you're going to produce a film for a different country, you know, and as I say, these days it's just so easy for people to just, you know, take a film, re-record the dialogue in a studio, overlay it in the film so that you don't hear the actual actors' voices. Some other guys doing the other language, but the fact that these guys, for the second time in this collection, actually took the time to learn the dialogue, reshoot the film, just that's a level of respect that you just do not see anymore, whether it be television or movies. So brilliant film for that alone, and for the entertainment value of the performers on here, you know, top of the range, awesome. Definitely go and check it out.